Hey guys, this is Samuel the Geek. This is December 3rd, 2014, which marks the 20th anniversary of the PlayStation 1. And this is the PlayStation brand's 20th year in existence. And if you don't know, PlayStation has innovated a lot. But the number one thing that I think the PlayStation has done the best is play it safe. And I think that that is important and very vital to the success of the brand in the future. I'm a little concerned on the 20th anniversary of PlayStation because Sony is in dire financial straits. It's at risk of going down. A lot of its most popular brands, such as the Vio laptops and its TVs and a lot of the electronics and even the movies have been suffering in recent years. And the only successful brand right now that's not having any issues is PlayStation. And Sony's corporate head has said that they're going to put a lot of emphasis on PlayStation for said reason. But looking through the history of PlayStation, Sony does it best when it plays it safe. The PlayStation 1, 2, and 4 are honestly some of the best machines on the market throughout the history of the entire industry. And the reason for that is they didn't ruffle any feathers, they didn't try to force innovation, and they just stuck to their guns of being easy, simple machines that you just play video games on. And that's where Sony excels. As we saw with the PlayStation 3, PSP, and PlayStation Vita, when Sony tries to innovate, they fall flat on their face because that's just not in their nature. I compare PlayStation a lot to brands like Coca-Cola or Microsoft in the software scene, such as Windows and Office. When they stick to their guns of just making the most efficient machine possible that just plays video games and just doesn't try to deviate away from that, they're successful. If you look at the PlayStation 4, what's the big difference between PlayStation 4 and its competition? Not really much spec-wise, not really much brand-wise. It's that they didn't do anything. They stuck to their guns. They made a machine that was simple. They made a machine that was, cost-effective. And they made games easy to play. There was no hoops, no jumping around. And that's where they are successful. And we saw this with the PlayStation 2 as well. Nintendo and Microsoft innovated years past Sony, even in those days. But the PlayStation 2 was successful because it was simple. It did everything right. It didn't do anything wrong. Whereas the Xbox had major flaws. The GameCube had major flaws. Them being as simple as possible has always worked for them. And I think that they should stick to that formula. I think sticking to the formula of just providing great games and being a platform that hosts great games and just being the most simple platform, they don't want to compete with a bunch of people, will be very successful for them. And I'm very pleased with a lot of the decisions they've made, especially ones like rejecting EA's monthly service where you pay to access games. It seems like Sony is standing up to a lot of the weird fads going on in the industry. And with the PlayStation 3, they kind of kowtowed to anyone. And that was not successful. And it seems that Tokyo's vision for this platform is more obviously seen in the PlayStation 4 than it was with the PlayStation 3. And the PlayStation 3, it seems like too many people had their hands in the cookie jar and we're trying to make the PlayStation 3 this big, expansive, important thing. And that's just not how Sony operates, really. It didn't work well. You had things like PlayStation Home, which was broken. PlayStation Network was a nightmare on the PlayStation 3. It never, ever really got fixed. And just subtle little things where you could tell that there was just so many ideas and just not enough focus. The scope creep on the PlayStation 3 was so large that it ended up being, instead of being the thing that you want everything to be for your TV, like the media center and all that, it ended up being crappy at everything. You know, it didn't really play games well. You had to install things. It took longer than its competition. The Blu-ray player was okay, but there were better Blu-ray players. It just ended up being like a Swiss Army knife, where, yes, you have everything, but ultimately a lot of that stuff would be better off as standalone tools. But with the PlayStation 4, they made up for those mistakes. They realized that a lot of people are getting smart TVs, so a lot less people are using their video game console as a way to stream Netflix and Hulu and all this stuff. So they didn't put too much emphasis on there. It's there for people who want it, but it's not the primary focus of the console. The Blu-ray player is there if you want it, but it's not the primary focus of the console. And just sticking to a strictly games, strictly, simple, easy interface, nothing complicated, I think that this is the way Sony will excel in the future. Because if you look at its competition, Microsoft is trying desperately to get anyone to buy Xbox One. The price is fluctuating like crazy. They're just buying out any game, any exclusive, anything they can to try to get people to use their machine, and it's just not working. And it doesn't appeal to a lot of consumers because it takes forever to load a game, the interface is confusing, and if you don't have a Kinect, it's very difficult to use. Whereas Sony, they just provide a simple, clean interface that gets the job done. And that's what the PlayStation 4 does. It gets the job done. Simple, easy, effective, and it doesn't try to get in your way. It doesn't throw brands at you. It doesn't try to, do all the things that they did with the PlayStation 3. And that's what I'm very impressed with, is that the PlayStation 4 is nothing like the PlayStation 3. And the Xbox One is almost exactly like the PlayStation 3. They're trying to there's too many eggs in the basket, there's too many hands in the cookie jar, and everything is spread out. If Sony plays it safe and continues to do so, I feel that they will easily continue to dominate this generation. Just make something simple, easy, and effective, and just keep, pumping out the games. That's all that they need to do. And they will be fine for the rest of the generation. While Microsoft and Nintendo will continue to play catch up and continue to try to throw out gimmicks, similar to what Sony did last generation. So, happy 20th birthday, PlayStation. Continue to play it safe, and I think you'll have an easy another 20 years. Alright guys, this is Samuel the Geek signing off.